We are doing service for our bikes day to day. We are using our bikes for every 3 months, 3 to 4 months, or for 1 year. We are doing service for our bike. So in that service, in that showroom, what they are doing and what are the parts they are changing and what are things they must need to change. So these parameters we are going to see in this video. The first one is we need to change the engine oil, because the frequent use of the engine oil while we are driving. The basic purpose of the engine oil is to made for lubrication in the IC engine. When the piston is moving for compression and expansion stroke, due to the movement of the piston, there is a friction between the cylinder and the piston. So in between that, the piston ring will be there. Even though if we are having a piston ring, we need to add lubrication. For that, we need to add an engine oil. So that oil within 3 to 4 months or in a year, it will be degraded and it will be oxidized and it will get more heat. So it will not be very efficient to use. And also, if you are using the engine oil frequently, then it will loses its viscosity. Due to the losing of viscosity, the engine oil may not work efficiently. So there is a basic purpose why we are changing the engine oil in the service center. So after using for 1 year or 3 to 4 months, if you go to showroom and if you ask how many years or how many months we need to change the engine oil once, so they will tell 3 to 4 months. So if you are not driving also, if you change it, it will be very useful for you. So like that, it will be useful for you. And then the first one is I told engine oil, changing of engine oil in the service center. The next one is they will change the oil filter. So from the oil tank, which is not, this is not petrol tank, this is separate from the petrol tank. The oil tank is located in the bottom side in the center of the bike. So in the oil tank, there will be oil filter to transmit from the oil tank to the IC engine, internal combustion engine, that cylinder inside the combustion chamber. For that, some oil filter will be there. So while we are changing the engine oil, we need to change the oil filter as well, because if we are having any kind of dust particles which is present inside the oil filter, it will cause a huge damage for the piston ring and also for the piston. So this thing definitely we need to change it while we are changing the engine oil. The next one is air filter. What is the purpose of air filter? If you are using SI engine, we need to inject the fuel plus air as a mixture. So for that, air is needed from the atmospheric air. The air is getting intake and the fuel is getting intake and the petrol is getting intake from the petrol tank. So for that, air plays a crucial role over there, because in SI engine, air fuel mixture is coming inside through the intake valve and the spark plug which is present separately in the center of the cylinder. So for that air fuel mixture, air is located right where the air we are getting from the atmosphere. So for that, we need to change the air filter as well while we are doing the service. So it will made up of some dust while we are using frequently for 3 to 4 months or 1 to 2 years. So we need to change at least one per year. So this is a third thing. First one is we have seen the engine oil. The next one is oil filter. The third one is air filter. The fourth one is we need to check the lamps, headlight and backlight, and also front brake and rear brake. So these things is a fourth one. What are the things? Lights and the brakes, front brake and rear brake. If the brake was very loose, so we need to tight it again. We need to set it down based on the disc what we are using in the bike. For example, if you talk about Shine 125, they have a separate disc in the front. So for adapting to the disc brake, we need to align the brake wire according to it. So it has a separate brake fluid. So if you see in the bike, you can able to see it has a separate brake fluid. So in that it is denoted that if the brake fluid goes below that certain line, we need to change the oil. So we need to fill it up. So this is the basic thing for braking applications. Not only in Shine 125, in many of the bikes we are having a disc brake. For the disc brake, we need to add some oil while we are doing a braking process. This is a basic thing. The fourth one is, as I already told, checking of headlamps and the brake wires, front brake and as well as the rear brake. The fourth one is battery. So headlamps is work with the help of the battery. So in my bike I used for more than 2 years. After that the battery is getting degraded. So I changed the battery. It cost around 1655 rupees. I used Amaron battery. So this battery has a 4 years of warranty. So for changing battery is very important, because while we are buying a new bike, it has a warranty of 1.5 years, but it will work more than 1.5 years, at least 19 months or 20 months it will work, but the warranty is around 18 months. So even though if you are having 1.5 years warranty, so it will complete the warranty date. Based on that only they are manufacturing the battery. So the sixth one is changing of a battery. So changing of battery is very important thing, because while you are driving the bike, the self start should be started. The self start is not working, then we have to change our battery. So it is also plays a crucial role. And the next one is chain slag. Chain slag means while we are driving frequently, the chain will getting loosed. So due to the chain is loose, the mileage will not be very efficient. So we need to check the chain slag as well. If the chain was very loose, we need to tighten it again. So this is also done in the service center. Before that, they will clean the bike. For doing all this process, before that they will clean this bike with a high velocity water supply. So you have to check the gear with the speed calculation, because in the first gear, normally in Shine 125 we have 5 gears. In the first gear it goes up to 15 to 20 km per hour. In the second gear 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and then more than 50 is the fifth gear. So this ratio, this respective calculation should be applicable while we are driving the bike. So this is very important thing. If you are using the bike at a speed of 40 km per hour in the fifth gear, then the gearbox will getting adapted to it. So we need to change all those things. Then if you are drive at 80 km per hour or 100 km per hour in the fifth gear itself, so it will cause a huge damage, and you will get a sound or vibration inside the cylinder, because you are using frequently in a 40 km per hour in the fifth gear. If you are suddenly changing into 80 km per hour in the fifth gear, it will cause some damage and vibration inside the cylinder. So these are all things they will change, and they will make a service for each and every parts inside the bike in the service center. So I hope this video is useful for you. For more information, subscribe this channel. Thank you.